offering. And together we say, in gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful awareness and the heart of dreams, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know about you, but I would rather be camping, but I also want to share the Dharma. So here we are. And if we have time, maybe we can go camping later today. If you will turn your booklets to page 7, we will stand and begin with the 3 refuges. Okay, and together we say, I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace,
which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the three jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion and practice joy and equanimity. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts.
Turn your book over and we will do the Heart Sutra. Remember that we recite the title at the beginning and again at the end. Dharma Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion from the deep practice of Prajna Paramita perceived the emptiness of all five skandhas and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but Prajna Paramita. Therefore, the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Away from all perverted views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in Prajna Paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the Prajna Paramita is the great Dharani, the radiant fearless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram,
which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna paramita. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisattva. Dharma, prajna, paramita, hridaya, sutra.
Please be seated. As you know, it's been my custom to say a few words on the Heart Sutra before I give the Dharma talk. I'm going to do a little something different today. I'm going to say a few words on the morning bell chant. There are a few new faces here, and I don't want anyone to have a misunderstanding of that chant. In the morning bell chant, it sounds like we are worshiping an individual called Amitabha Buddha, and we're not. This is the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, but he is not the only Buddha. All of us are latent Buddhas, and that's what our practice will lead us to someday, our own Buddhahood. Now, many years ago, most people were farmers. Most people lived on the land. And it was thought the only way you could attain Buddhahood would be by practicing daily, meditating daily, studying. And when you are a farmer trying to feed your family, trying to house your family, that's not always the case. So a man named Amitabha took some vows. He said, when I reach Buddhahood, I will create a Western paradise. And so if anyone calls upon my name with true awareness, without being distracted by anything, when they die, they will be reborn in this pure land, and there are no obstructions. You can become a Buddha quite quickly. Now, I'm leaving a lot out, but that's the very basic. And the reason I'm sharing this is because my talk today is on, do we look at things metaphorically or literally? Now, you can look at what I just said as literal. If you call up Amitabha, 3 times, total conviction, total awareness. When you die, you will be born in his pure land and there become a Buddha easier. Or you can use it as a metaphor. My mind is the pure land. My forgive me for saying this, but my duty to myself is to purify my mind. So you make your decision. Is it metaphor or is it literal? I'm going to start today with a reading from the Lotus Sutra, and Gajisu, you quoted from this last week, I believe. Like I said, I'm going to try to explain. Do you remember a few months ago, I asked if anyone has a subject they'd like us to talk about, drop them in the Dana box. And one of the suggestions was, how do I determine metaphor from literal? I can't give you that answer. My teacher used to tell me that when I was studying scripture and he wanted me to give a presentation on it, to never read a commentary. He said, if you read a commentary, you're giving me someone else's opinion. So I'm not going to tell you something is a metaphor or something is literal, because that's my opinion. You use your opinion, your belief, your experience. In the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha is speaking to Shariputra. And Shariputra, we just quoted his name 3 times in the Heart Sutra. He was the Buddha's greatest student, greatest disciple, one of the wisest practitioners ever. And the Buddha said to him, Shariputra, ever since I became a Buddha, I have used a variety of causal explanations and a variety of parables to teach and preach, and countless skillful means to lead living beings, enabling them to give up their attachments. Why? Because the Buddha has attained full use of skillful means and practice of insight. Metaphoric or literal? I'm going to give you 2 examples, and you make your own decisions. And as the Buddha just said, these are teaching tools, things to help you, to help us. I'm going to tell a story from the Vimalakirti Sutra. The Vimalakirti Sutra is one of my very favorite sutras because it is funny. You don't see humor in Buddhist scripture very often. But in the Vimalakirti Sutra, which is beloved in the East, Vimalakirti is a layman. He's not a monk. He's not a priest. He's an ordinary layman, and he shows himself to be an extremely wise teacher. Anyway, one day he pretends he's sick, and he's shut up in his room, and his room is probably half the size of the lobby out there. And I think the Buddha knew what he was doing. Anyway, the Buddha went to Shariputra. Shariputra, would you go check on Vimalakirti for me to see how he's doing, ask him how he's doing and everything? Well, Lord, I would love to do that, Shariputra said, but the last time I saw Vimalakirti, I was giving a talk on meditation, and he was there, excuse me. And afterwards, he came up to me and said, you know, Shariputra, that talk you gave was wonderful. It was almost perfect. The only thing you should have done better was. Okay. So the Buddha went to another student. Would you go see Vimalakirti and ask him how he's doing, find out how things are? Does he need anything? Oh, I'd love to, Lord. But the last time I saw him, I had just given a talk on mindfulness. And he came up afterwards and said, that was a great talk. That was wonderful. But he did that again to another student. Would you go see Vimalakirti? Well, Buddha, I would, but. Well, Buddha, I would, but. Every person he asked had a reason why they couldn't go. And they couldn't go because Vimalakirti had given them a little bit of instruction, a little bit of correction. Think about it. How is my ego? Am I going to want somebody to come up to me afterwards and say, you did great, but? Please do that, though. That helps. That helps us become better teachers. But people just didn't appreciate Vimalakirti, a layman, telling them how to teach, what they should have done. And that goes through the whole scripture. It's, like I said, I just chuckle all the way through. But there is a story in there. Vimalakirti has a very little room. He's in there and he's sick, and people are visiting him. Well, there's a goddess in that room. And the scripture doesn't tell us what goddess it is, but this is India, so it could have been any one of a myriad goddesses or some we never even heard of. Anyway, no one sees her because being a goddess, she doesn't want to see her. She can make herself non-visible. So one day, after everyone's gone, Shariputra's still there. She made herself visible to Shariputra. And at that time, it was gospel that women could not attain enlightenment. They could not attain awakening. They could not attain nirvana or Buddhahood. You had to die and be reborn as a man. And so this goddess asked Shariputra about that. Well, yes, everybody knows it. You got to be a man to attain Buddhahood, to attain nirvana. Really? Poof. She, with her little goddess poof, turned Shariputra into a woman. You know, what's this? What's this? And now Shariputra, what do you think about a woman becoming enlightened, attaining Buddhahood, nirvana? They can. Poof. He's the man again. Now, is this metaphor, or did Shariputra, the great Shariputra, become a woman for 25 minutes of his life? Again, I can't answer that for you. You answer that for you. And, you may switch in and out. It's really helpful for me to believe that truly happened. It's really helpful for me to believe that's a teaching tool. So you make that decision based on your wisdom, your experience. But I love the story. Okay. My dress. Sorry. The second example. Within the traditions of Buddhism, there are, give me a tissue, what are called the six realms. And when an individual dies, they are reborn into one of these six realms. Now, thank you very much. Now, the six realms begin with the heaven realm, the realm of the gods. If you have lived, and this is the teaching, if you have lived a wonderful life, a pure life, a wholesome life, helping others, being generous, being kind, the chances are you may be reborn in heaven as a god or a goddess. And you may think that sounds wonderful. And for a long, long time, it probably is. Gods, goddesses, they could live for tens of thousands and thousands of years. And being gods, I want shrimp cocktail, I want ice cream, I want a trip to the Bahamas, blah, 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 everything you could want, you've got. The only thing that you don't understand is that you are going to die. Even the gods and goddesses die. In ancient Egypt, they find tombs of the gods all the time. There's no incentive as a god for me to try to discover the truth, to try to realize my inherent Buddhahood. Realm one. Realm two is the realm of the Asuras, the angry gods. Now, to be born there, you still had to be a very good person, but there was probably a little bit of jealousy in you or anger. Because when you're reborn there, the first thing you realize, I'm not a god. I'm a demigod, a lesser god. And tradition tells us that the gods and goddesses in this Ashura realm are always PO'd at the real gods because we're not you. And they're always making war on them, trying to break down the gates to heaven so we can get there and be real gods. So it's a realm of jealousy and anger. Have I ever felt jealousy and anger? When I have, when I do, when I will, that's where I am in the Ashura realm. The third realm is us, the human realm. This is the realm. The Asuras aren't going to search for Buddhahood either because they're just so angry. Our realm, the human realm, here we have an understanding. We have problems in life. We have joy in life. But we have a life that guides us to realize there is something beyond this. There's something better. There's something more I can do. The Buddha has said to be born as a human being is the greatest blessing because here you can discover your Buddhahood. There's an old chestnut that says to be born a human is like a turtle living on a planet that's all water. And on that water, there's a egg yolk floating. And this turtle comes up once every 100 years and sticks his head up for air. What's the chances of him hitting that egg yolk? That's the chances of you being born a human. Now, that's a fantastic story, but in the East, these type of stories are very well beloved, and they make the point. Below the human realm is the realm of the animals. The animals are characterized by being guided by instinct and desire. The desire to eat. I want to have food. The desire to mate. I have to procreate. The desire to defend oneself, which all of us do, but it's very strong there. Now, it's not a happy world to be an animal. Animals are killed for food. They are killed for recreation. They are trained to do certain tricks which they wouldn't otherwise do. They're used for sports, for entertainment. People abuse animals. There are people who abuse their pets. It's probably not the best place to be born. The realm right below that is the realm of the hungry ghosts. Now, the hungry ghosts represent greed. And I want you to picture in your mind what one of these beings look like. I'm not people, beings. They're very, very short, monocolor, pale, because they get no anything. And they have a huge, bulbous stomach. And this stomach, they want to fill. Greed, you want to fill it. Their neck that they swallow through is the size of a straw. And their mouth is a little teeny circle. So I've got this huge gut, and I want to fill it. And I have a hard time because my little mouth and my little throat. And that is a perfect example of not being able to satisfy my wants, my desires. Have any of you ever been a child and said, Mom, Dad, give me this for Christmas. I'll never want anything else again? Okay, greed, that's a very tiny part of greed. We want. Now, the last realm is the hell realm. And before I go any further, let me say that you are never locked in any of these realms forever. You will be born there. This is the teaching, and then die, and then be reborn, hopefully somewhere else. The hell realm is a not very nice place. And I can say a lot on it other than, I will shorten this though. You won't be there forever. If you want to understand what a Buddhist hell is like, and we don't really talk about this because I'm an atheist. I left Christianity, became an atheist, and discovered Buddhism. And so for me to believe in the spiritual, that type of thing, ghosts and everything, it's beyond my being. But there are people who literally believe this and others who look at it as metaphor. Anyway, if you want to understand what traditional Buddhist thought of hell, go on YouTube and type in Thailand Hell Park. And there are several parks in Thailand, in Taiwan, in Japan, and in Vietnam, where there are life-size statues of life-size people, painted bright colors, and they are suffering the most unimaginable tortures and nonsense. And I won't even go into it. Just look, but be prepared. They're awful. And it's hard to believe that this is what a Buddhist teaching is, about this incredible torture. But I believe that just as in other religions, hell is sometimes it's seen in most places as a literal place, but it's also a teaching device. And it probably worked multiple times throughout the millennia to help people stay just, stay honest. I would think that today, I can't speak for you, but I am beyond that. But I have proved to myself a few times I may not be beyond that when my anger or impatience stand up. So, the six realms: heaven, the demigods, asuras, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell. Are they real? Are they literal? Are they metaphors to help us make the proper decisions, make the proper choices? Just be aware. You can look at them as I'm comfortable, I've got everything I need to live comfortably, I'm a God. I'm suffering, I'm angry, I'm in hell. You know, we may move through these many times a day in our life. I will take that water. Excuse me. Is it a metaphor? Is it reality? You make that decision. Now, before we do anything else, does anybody want to make a comment on heaven or hell, or the poof being a woman? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
The whole reborn thing really threw me off the first time I heard it in relationship to Buddhism, because I so don't go along with that. But I understand the teaching tool of those 6 places you just talked about, but they also scare me a little bit because it sounds like some of that Christian control thing so I'm just going to ignore it and go along with the teaching tools of but literal and metaphor. Then I also think about, well, the Christians tell the story about whoever it was that parted the Red Sea. Really? I don't think that happened. But so that's a metaphor. So we have metaphors as well, and to look at them as a teaching tool rather than getting scared that somebody's trying to tell me if you don't do what you should do, you're going to end up in hell. I'm like, yeah, okay.
That's wonderful. And the reason I spoke about those 6 realms is because it is part of 2,500 years of Buddhist teaching, and we should know everything. But we should also remember the Buddha has a toolbox. Here it is. There are tools in here. If this one works for you, use it. If this one doesn't, don't use it. It's what helps us in our day-to-day life with ourselves and with everyone else. It's what helps us, whatever helps us chip away, let fall away everything that's not Buddha. So more power to you, Ellen. You do it, what has to be done. Yes. And I'm on your side, I think. Iggy.
Iggy works. In terms of rebirth, I think you touched on it a little bit. As you go throughout your day, and you might notice, I've got everything. I'm good. I'm good. Things are great. And then something comes up where it's impatience or anger, or something else comes up, and you're back and you're riding that wave of going in and out of each moment. One of the ways I think of rebirth is going through those moments. One moment you might be in the God realm, and then the next moment you're born into the assured realm. Is that what it was? And that this every moment you're never the same person. You don't have the same amount of cells. You don't have. You may have lost a couple hairs. So in every moment, everything is changing. Right? Isn't that part of our Buddhist teaching? Is everything, nothing is permanent. So from each moment we are born, and from each moment we are in, so to speak, we die. And that is one way to think of our cycle. I really like the implication that the best place to be is this realm, the human realm. And it reminds me, like the way that you explain the different realms reminds me of a different story where there's a fire and there's a little bird who escapes, and then he says, wait a second, wait about all my friends. And so he goes to the river and gets the raindrops and sprinkles them on the forest, and the gods above in the first realm are laughing at him, saying like, haha, look at that. Like, does he think that's going to do anything? And that story, the way that they explain it,
the gods don't care because they have everything that they need. And like what I learned from that is kind of that the reason we don't want to be there for very long is because when you have everything that you need, you lose sight of the compassion for other people. And that's why being here in this place where we struggle, that helps us learn compassion for other people. And I just like that idea that when you have everything that you need, it's easy to forget other people are struggling.
Thank you. And I've noticed that through the years. I used to be in a Catholic monastery in my previous life. And the poorer the person, usually the more they would give. And that's maybe a little, you see that all the time.
I really enjoyed that you talked about the different realms, and in particular, Hungry Ghost, because I think it's pervasive in our society, and the travel time between the Hell Realm and Hungry Ghost is very short.
Yeah.
I have a friend who always says, I ask myself before I buy anything, is it a need? Do I want it or do I need it? And I think that was a really good teaching, because Hungry Ghosts are always trying to fill. And I think I've read about Hungry Ghosts before, and now I look at the world through that lens, through politics, through the environment, through the way that we care and treat one another. Hungry Ghost, I think right now, I see it a lot. And maybe I'm looking for it, but it is this desire. It's never enough. And so it's addictions. I think Hungry Ghost and addictions are very closely tied as well. So thank you for that.
Oh, let me give a teaching real quick here. You'll see what he just did. He was coming, he stopped. Our tradition is, excuse me, not to walk in front of the Sangha, except the people along the back. We can't help it. Go ahead.
I just wanted to share, in Tibetan iconography, you see these 6 realms, and in each realm, even in the Hell realm, you can see a Buddha is in each realm, because there's a way of awareness, there's a way out of that realm. Each realm is impermanent, and it's being held by the god of death, Yama, which means that in every realm you will die, and to get out of that, and it shows there's the Buddha outside of that wheel, and he's pointing at the moon. And it's just really beautiful. I recommend looking it up. It's just Tibetan 6 realms. Wheel of Life. Yeah, the Wheel of Life. So just want to put that out there.
Anyone else over there?
I really enjoyed your comments, Iggy, because I think that we often, right, with formlessness and soundlessness, this is my life phase, right? And when we look at it through the literal, hey, I might be in the human realm, but maybe go to the animal, hopefully not, or wherever I fall. But I think your point of every breath is a death and a rebirth. And I can be in any of those realms throughout any hour, day, moments. And I just think that was really powerful, because we think of, hey, I was born, living, died. It's this 50, 70, 100-year period, shorter, longer. But really, it's broken up much more than that, I think. So thank you.
Thank you.
Something you mentioned, you brought up the hungry ghosts and addiction and how those are very much connected. One of the things that I've been learning through just my own personal experience and through watching a lot of people around me is that hungry ghost state, the more, like you referred to, this tiny little mouth with this little straw for a throat, the more you try to suck down that thing, the emptier the gut feels. And just noticing that in my own personal experience, the more I chase after something, the hungrier I am. Yeah, I just wanted to share that, and just I really appreciated you bringing that up.
Okay, thank you. Ellen, I would like to address something to you. I agree with you 100%, but we have to remember where these stories came from. All of these religions started at a time when humanity didn't totally understand birth or disease, the solar system. It was a way of answering the unanswerable. Yeah, and my mother used to tell me as I was a kid, when I lived on a farm, don't stand, there are wooden fences, don't stand on that fence with the hogs in there because they'll bite your toes off. I never had a hog ever bite my toe off, but it was a way of making me not stand on that fence because I don't know what could have happened. I don't know. That's probably a dumb example, but sometimes we do use weird examples. But if I was born in the year 1222, what would I believe? I don't know. We have the wisdom of hindsight. But like I said, I am with you all the way. All right. Let's prepare ourselves for meditation, please. We bow. Announcements. Our next Lojan is of July. Okay. The Radical Dharma Book Club meets the first Wednesday of each month. We have a Dharma discussion group which meets which meets every Thursday morning. And right now we're discussing a book by Joseph Goldstein called One Dharma. The Board of Directors meeting is the fourth Sunday of each month today, and it'll be in the community room. There are Buddhist-based recoveries Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Go to our website, zengr.com. You'll find out the particulars, or see this one. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. That one. Anything I've left out? And our beloved Gail is going to speak. I think,
Again, I wanted to thank you. It's a wonderful Dharma talk. My given name is Gail. My Dharma name is Katya Sattva. I'm on the fundraising committee, which is really interesting and a real privilege, and I'm on the board. Today, when we said the three refuges, when we said loving and supportive community of practice, that really rang true for me because we really are a community. I dare say not a family, but certainly a community that supports one another in our practice. So on the fundraising committee and on the board, I realized the immense energy that our community gives of their time to clean the temple, to set up the temple. There are people that maintain the exterior here so it's clean. There's a garden right outside that people maintain. There are people that plan classes, that buy office supplies and cleaning supplies and pay the rent and the utilities and our air conditioning and the tea. So the loving and community really takes a lot of time. And where I'm leading to this is that there are dana boxes at each end of the temple in order to keep this community open and thriving and available for other people. On our website, and I'd really encourage you to go on our website or on our Facebook page that, yes, very nice job. Below the YouTube site, there's a link. For those of you who are Amazon shoppers, you can do Amazon Smile and designate the temple, and the temple gets a very small portion of your purchase, which is helpful. Is there anything else? Jan, did I forget anything else? That's good. You what?
No one gets paid here. Nobody gets it.
No one gets paid. All of our time is volunteer, and we're very privileged to do so. Loving and supportive community of practice. The board meeting is today. Know that that's available to other people, that you can dial in through Zoom and see what we're doing. And I think that that's it. Thank you very
They can
much.
set in also, can't they?
They what?
Can they set in if they want to watch a board meeting?
Jim is our president. Google Meet. Thank you for that. All right. Thank you very much.
In regards to the tea, when this service is ended, the tea is over there on one floor down. Just go down, go to the kitchen, go in that way. And Dan?
Yes.
Dan brought us a box of peach tea, which looks good. So I've got two kettles downstairs. One is a silver kettle with Irish breakfast, I think. Yeah, Irish breakfast in it. And the other white kettle is plain hot water. So you can try Dan's peach tea, and there's other kinds of teas. If you want to use that white kettle, you have to push an unlock button, then a dispense button. And if you get lost, try it again. But it's really easy. I could figure it out. So anything else? Then why don't we stand and recite our gathas? Page what?
9.
9?
Yes.
Page 9. For all
Unskillful actions ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginning was greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts. Now I atone for them all. Vast is the road of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddhist teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to penetrate. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain.
And if we face each other, let's give a bow. All right, make sure your cushions are neat and tidy and see downstairs.